So as always, thank you all for coming. Let's turn our volume up here just a little bit and shout out some riders on the gate. Unfortunately for him, man, on the far outside, we have Rubes, your number 1 plate holder, Barboza, Wheels, Moto Patrol, Hardy Boy, Draco, Jams, Dirteen, Jay Fisher, FTY, McChicken, Aiden, Lemunion, Reese, Hurls, Linz, Jack, your red plate holder, Dad Shoes, Beast, Fafalito, and Moreno. 15-second gate or board is sideways. Gate is about to drop. Let's see who's going to grab the NMR hole shot. Tight left-hander. It's going to be Jack on the Mick Creations. KTM, who gets a good start, and the hole shot. Rum diving to the inside, bar to bar as we come into our first rhythm section. Dad Shoes gets a good run through there. Manages to make a pass for second on Rum. Lynn's currently sitting in 4th. Beast in 5th. Chicken in 6th. Aiden in 7th. Dirteen in 8th. Hurls in 9th. And Lemunion of Pin Performance rounding out your top 10. Look at the gap here that we have on the rest of the field. No surprise to see that in the first round. I didn't know that that would be the corner where it happened, though. But Jack getting a commanding lead here as we go into lap number 1. Beast goes down in the sand section and take Linz with him, allowing Dad Shoes to get around for a 3rd place spot. It's really anybody's game beyond that, as Lemunion was sitting in 10th and now moves up into 4th, followed by Aiden, Hurls, Linz, Chicken, and Beast. Going to be some good racing here tonight on this Anaheim track. Look how deep the pack still is as we cross the finish line and officially begin lap number 1. Chaos for Aiden and Chicken as they both go down and take Hardy Boy with them. Beast capitalizes on all of that and moves up. Man, it is a deep pack here. Jack still holding on to the number 1 spot, but Dad Shoes coming in hot. Let's go on board. Dad Shoes might have made it around. I believe he did. We now are looking at a new race leader. The number 15 on the Big Bart KTM has moved up into the number 1 spot. Let's see what our spider cams are looking like, or our race cams rather. We'll get a look at lap times in just a moment as Dad Shoes comes into the sand section. Jack had made a mistake, it looks like. Hurls gets around, moves into the number 2 spot, putting Moto Factory in a podium position. Jack makes another mistake and goes down. Look in the back here. He just did it again. It looked like he tangled up with Chicken there. Switch to spider cams in just a second for a further view. Hurls now sitting in 2nd. It's Lemunion of Pin Performance who finds himself in the number 3 spot, followed closely by his teammate Dirteen. Shout out to Draco as well, who sees his first 450 main event tonight as Hurls makes a mistake and goes down, allowing Lemunion to push up into 2nd. Dirteen now sitting in the 3rd and final podium position. Pin Performance having really good luck tonight. Hopefully they can maintain that luck through the main event. 17.5 minutes left to go. All right, adjusting audio one final time. Rum getting a good drive here as he has managed to avoid enough chaos to put himself into a top 5 position, but it is Hurls who makes his way around Dirteen and comes up into, I believe, the 4th spot. Linz having been a part of multiple issues of chaos here early in the race. Credited with 9th place as he crossed the finish line last lap, but I'm sure that will update here in just a moment as he's being pressured now by Aiden of K-Bell Racing, Hardy Boy the Privateer, Beast of Motomart, Reese is here for Bud Racing, and Moreno, the person who we expect to see capitalize on this race and take some points and a position away in the championship standings from Boardman. So we'll keep an eye on Moreno as we see him pushing hard through the pack. Lynn's now moving up into 7th according to timing and scoring, trying to put the pressure on Rum and catch up. Dirteen still behind Hurls. Lemunion now sitting in the number 2 spot officially. Dad Shoes with a commanding lead, an 8.4 second gap over Lemunion, now over Hurls as Lemunion makes a mistake and falls back to the 3rd place spot. Let's go on board with Linz here and try to get a lap around the track for who I believe was your fastest qualifier, at least in his group. Whoop sections are tough here tonight at our 2nd round of Anaheim, followed by a sand section. This finish line corner is what's going to be interesting to me. How many people are going to be able to make last effort passes right there before coming into it? Lins now moves up into the number 5 spot, having Dirteen in his sights. He's going to try to hunt him down. Who can get the better line through the whoops? Back out for a little bit as we try to go through some lap times here. Lins last lap, his fastest with a 101.74. Dirteen sitting in 4th with a 105. So Lins certainly has the speed to catch him. As Dirteen makes a mistake before the triple, bobbles, and there goes Lins, sending it right past him into the number 4 spot. Now he's hunting down LeMunyon in the final podium position. Pin Performance about to get caught up by the Mick Creations rider, as LeMunyon's last lap was a 105, his best a 103. Hurls with a 103.8 as well. Dad Shoes' fastest lap a 102, his last a 103. So I know these guys are capable of running sub 1 minute times, but of course you are in the middle of a race. Track is starting to get eroded. A lot of things can happen here. Dirteen, it looks like, has now fallen back and lost multiple positions to Hardy Boy, Rum, and Aiden. Aiden's going to cross the finish line here, I believe, in 5th place, yes. Let's go back on board with, where is Jack? Let's look at Jack's, man, I think Jack has just completely retired from this race. Unfortunate for your points leader. He's going to be losing quite a bit, but I don't know if Jack is competing in the NA series this year or not, so maybe he has a title to contend with there. Nevertheless, Hurl's now starting to put the pressure in on Dad Shoes. 14 minutes left in this race. Already a quarter of it has gone by. Can Hurls put the pressure on? His last lap, a 102.2. Dad Shoes' fastest is faster than that, but his last lap was a 109. So Dad Shoes needs to maintain consistency here, or we could be looking at the Moto Factory rider putting himself into the number 1 spot. Lynn's still trying to cut some time in this gap between himself and LeMunyon and put himself into a podium position. So we'll keep an eye on timing and scoring on the left side of the screen and see what we can see. Aiden still in 5th. Rum now in 6th. Dirteen in 7th. Moreno still sitting in an 8th place spot as he makes a mistake, hits the tough blocks and goes over the berm and immediately loses 4 positions. Hardy moves up. Here's Reese, Chicken, and Rubes. Let's go on board with McChicken here and watch as he is battling with the number 1 plate holder. A little bit squirrely through the whoop section there. I think that was Reese who ended up making a mistake and going down. On board with Aiden now. I believe Lins has now passed LeMunyon for the number 3 spot, as he has. LeMunyon now feeling the pressure from Aiden of K-Bell, who gets a good drive through this rhythm section. Let's take it a little bit closer to the track here. Jack is red plate, Vinci, and he's just retired from the race. Lynn's crossing the finish line now with a 9-second gap between himself and Dad Shoes. Still just under 13 minutes left here, plus 1 lap to try to make a push. LeMunyon still trying to hold off Aiden. That is your top 5. Comes Dirteen through the whoop section, moving up into 6th place now, being pressured hard by Rum. Chicken makes a mistake, tucks the front and goes down. Rubes tries to go wide, ends up connecting with him. Moreno is a part of that chaos as well. Reese, the benefactor of 3 positions there from the mistake by the Australian rider. Moreno ends up getting around Rubes because of that scuffle. Can he capitalize on the situation and make a pass around McChicken? We're going to find out. All riders taking similar lines into these long rhythm sections here. Let's see if we can go on board with Moreno for a moment. Moreno having a very impressive run at the San Diego round, battling with McChicken for the last half of the race. Chicken was finally able to edge him out and gain a podium position right there at the end. That was the best finish that we've seen from McChicken in the 450 class. So Moreno maybe a little bit of pressure to try to beat him again this week, or beat him this week rather. But we're going to see Moreno crossing the finish line, as you can see on the left there, in 9th. Hurls still really cutting down on this gap that he has between himself and Dad Shoes. So it is entirely possible that we could see Hurls catch up. His last lap, a 101.9. Dad Shoes, a 104. Again, it's all about consistency for the Big Bark rider. And there he goes, making a mistake in the sand section. Hurls gets around him and moves himself up into the number 1 spot. I believe this is the first time that we have seen Hurls in the number 1 spot all season long, and good on him. Out here grinding and making it happen. Dad Shoes falls back to second. Here comes Linz, though. He has completely cut this gap, taking a 9-second deficit and only down by 3 seconds. Less than that even now, as we can clearly see that that's not a 3-second gap. So, starting to get into lap traffic here. Hurls is going to navigate it cleanly, it appears. We're going to keep an eye on this battle and make sure nothing happens between Dad Shoes and Linz. Dad Shoes certainly a capable rider of catching back up to Linz and making a pass for the lead, but can he keep it consistent? You guys, if you know me, you know that I am not very good at this game, but I did make some effort to try to put some laps down here on Anaheim too, and I can say that it's definitely a tough track. So we'll just have to see how it turns out. Linz getting around the lap traffic cleanly, now has a clean track in front of him, able to set his sights on his old teammate and friend, Dad Shoes. Let's go back and look at Lemunyon, who's currently sitting in 4th, still tethered on to Aiden, who's not very far behind him. His teammate Dirteen holding on to the 6th place spot. Rum in 7th, Chicken in 8th, Reese in 9th place now, and Moreno rounding out our top 10. Dad Shoes making a mistake in the whoop sections there and goes down. Linz now moves up into the number 2 spot. Linz having another clean track in front of him with his sights set on Hurls, the race leader, as Hurls makes a mistake before the Supercross triple, goes over the bars. Linz now moves up into the number 1 spot. Linz was looking really good in qualifying, and as long as he had a clean track and stayed out of lap traffic and out of the chaos, he was destined to do good things here in round 4. Looks like he didn't have the best start, but man, he has hard charged and done so cleanly, taking the number 1 spot away from Hurls. So, what are we going to see between these two riders? Is Hurls going to be able to put the throttle on, set his targeting systems on lock for the Mick Creations rider and battle for the lead? Or is he going to fall back to Dad Shoes, who is now in 3rd after leading this race for a good amount of time? Hurls does make a mistake. Dad Shoes now moves back up into the number 1 spot. Consistency is key, and it's hard to be consistent in Supercross, but that's what it takes. Lynn's proving it. Dad Shoes falls back to 2nd. Hurls now sitting in 3rd. Lemunyon still holding on to that number 4 spot. Aiden falling back just a little bit further now. Lemunyon really on the charge, grinding. Proud of my boy. Last lap was a 104, Aiden a 105, so Lemunyon is starting to get into a groove, hold on to these rather quick lap times, and just maintain enough pace to hold off his competitor. Chicken now moves up into 6th, Rum in 7th, Moreno 2 spots from the last time we checked as he is now in 8th, Dirteen in 9th, Reese holding on to your top 10. Take a moment and look through the rest of the field here as Rubes in an uncharacteristic 11th place position, not what we expect out of the previous season winner and number 1 plate holder. Beast, I believe, in 12th. That'll be Jams in 13th, Barboza in 14th, Wheels of Apex Motorsports sitting in 15th, Hardy Boy in 16th, followed by FTY. And there you have it, Lynn's already getting into lap traffic. Now let's talk about this for a second, as we've seen a lot of riders in front of Lynn's here. This is now deep lap traffic, only 7 minutes remain in the main event. Hurls gets a good drive through the whoop section there, trying to make a pass on Dad Shoes, not able to get it through the whoops, but we will see if he's able to make it stick somewhere else. I don't know if Lynn's got caught up in lap traffic, but the gap that he has over Dad Shoes now seems to be a little bit smaller than it was before. I could be wrong, but nevertheless, lappers are up ahead. This is going to be big. 6.5 minutes left. Can they navigate the traffic cleanly? Lynn's make it through with no mistakes and maintain his lead. We're going to find out. Dad Shoes with another mistake, allowing Hurls to go by. It's just back and forth between Hurls and Dad Shoes as to who can keep it most consistent and stay up front. I want to check lap times, though, as we cross the finish line here and see what these guys are running this deep into the race with this much E-road. Lynn's last lap, a 104.9. Hurls, a 104.3. So both of them still running a similar pace given the circumstances. Question is, can Hurls turn it on just a little bit harder, outrun Dad Shoes, and catch up to Lynn's? Yeah, I need to turn on the sound alerts, Leo. Because, yeah, I'd like to have it actually say that. Munion's still in 4th, Aiden's still in 5th. These two are definitely keeping it consistent. They might not be the fastest riders on the track, but they are staying in their lane and holding their own. Let's go on board one more time with Linz. Dad Shoes again on the ground, taking a soil sample from the sand, letting Hurls run away with it even more. Crossing the finish line on the left side of your screen, you can see the gap between Linz and Hurls appears to be 4.1 seconds, but I believe it's because Hurls has cuts. The gap that he has physically in front of Linz is definitely not 4 seconds. So for Hurls, that means even if he's able to catch Linz, he's going to have to outrun him if he wants to get credited with the #1 spot. Just out of the corner of my eye there, I saw Aiden make a pass for LeMunyon. So finally, 15.5 minutes into this race, Aiden finds himself in front of the Pin Performance rider, taking over the #4 spot. Keep an eye on this battle here. Dad Shoes almost hit Hardy Boy going up the face of that triple, but managed not to. Earl's still trying to hunt down Linz. I'll be sure to keep an eye on it. Good battle here, though, between Aiden and LeMunyon for the 4th place spot. Chicken now moving himself up into a 6th place position with Moreno behind him. So very familiar here from what we saw at San Diego last week. Moreno's familiar and comfortable with hunting down Chicken, but Chicken's last lap a 108.6 as he makes a mistake in the sand and goes down. I'm just commentator cursing these guys right now. Moreno with a good drive around the outside. Can he beat him to the corner? He does. Chicken checks up, lets Moreno go. Moreno's last lap a 103. Let's see what this is, a 104.9. Chicken with a crash, of course, at a 108, but their fastest laps are very similar. Moreno now moving himself into the 6th place position. The higher he can click off these positions, the more points he's going to be able to obtain on Boardman, who did not show up tonight. And with Rubes back there in 10th, you can almost guarantee that Moreno is going to move into the overall #3 spot for the championship. So good on him. He doesn't have to win the race, Moreno. You just need to finish it and finish it in a good enough position. LeMunyon still pressuring Aiden here for the #4 spot. Let's go back up front and look as Dad Shoes sits in 3rd. Hurls crossing in 2nd. Again with a 3.8 second gap between himself and Linz. Linz now coming into deeper lap traffic as he's trying to get around Beast of the Motomart Suzuki. Beast diving to the inside, holding it tight, letting Linz go. But here comes Hurls. Hurls is doing well for himself as he's already back up, caught up to Linz, trying to put the pressure on, made a little bit of a bobble there, but managed to keep it up. Many Linz fans watching these streams today and always tuned in on Friday. Linz streaming on YouTube if anybody wants to go catch his main event or watch it back after he is done. But Hurls with a good drive, trying to get around Beast on the outside, going for the triple in. The quad here is possible, but it's very dangerous. I don't suspect anybody's going to be taking that in the main race unless their race depends on it. Let's go down and get a little bit closer here with Hurls. I would say that Hurls has exactly a 1 second cut. So he really needs to get out front of Linz and just gap him by 1 second. Just under 2 minutes left in this race, +1. We'll see if he can do it. Hurls last lap a 101.9, Linz. A 104.4, Linz a 106.3. So Hurls may be turning it on here. I don't suspect that Lappers caused a 2 second delay between himself and Linz. At this point, he is tethered on to the back tire of the Mick Creations rider, and he is really just playing his patience and trying to figure out where he can make the pass. As we say that, he makes a mistake, goes a little bit off track, hits the tough blocks. Fortunately, due to the tough block design this year, he does not go down, but man, it does slow him up enough. Wheels taking a look behind him as he is getting the blue flags for the #2 rider here. We are going to have one more lap around this track before the white flag waves. Effectively, that is 2 laps approximately 2 minutes of race time left for Hurls to make something happen. Can he do it? And I like Linz, but I love good racing as well. I would love to see Hurls catch up and really put the pressure on him. And we know that he can do it. But Linz is Mr. Consistent this race, having, I don't think he's gone down at all since he's moved himself up into a podium position. What do we have? There we go. All right. White flag has been waved for your race leader, Linz, on the Mick Creations Husqvarna. Hurls closing in tight. The last time that we checked the timing and scoring, he had a 1.9 second gap, which we determined was because of a 1 second cut, so it was really a 0.9 second gap. Now it would be a 1.6 second gap. Nevertheless, that wall turn there, or the bull turn before the wall, Linz takes it inside because they both roll the wall, but Hurls' speed around the outside, I don't know how that's contributing, but I feel like that is where he's catching up. It's going to be tough. We are into the next section of the track, which could present the most complications. Linz just has to keep it clean and consistent like he has been all race. One whoop section and one sand section left remain for the Mick Creations rider. First of two obstacles is down. Hurls is going to have to make a move now or never if he wants to see the number 1 spot. But a number 2 finish behind Linz and in front of Dad Shoes is impressive, as there goes Linz on the Mick Creations Husqvarna taking the checkered flags for number 1, and Hurls giving it everything he had to try to get his first race win in the Aerial ESX Championship. Definitely proud of that guy. And congratulations to Linz. Dad Shoes finishing in 3rd. See if we have any drama here between Aiden and McChicken, as McChicken gets around Aiden just after the whoop section there. One final pass, and Chicken is able to put himself up into the 4th place position. Granted, he has no cuts, and he does not. Oh, he did actually, but a 0.1. Look at this difference here. Chicken had cuts, I guarantee you, but Aiden just wasn't quick enough to close in on them. LeMunyon making a mistake right there at the end, goes into the gates, looks behind him as he re-enters the track, but still connects with Rum, unfortunately. LeMunyon going to cross the finish line here in 8th, Rum in 9th, and it will be Rubes of the MXB Mods Racing and your number 1 plate holder who rounds out your top 10. Aiden in 11th, Beast in 12th, Dirteen in Beast in 12th, Dirteen in 13th. Jams in 14th, Barboza in 15th, FTY in 16th, Moto Patrol, Draco, Hardy, Jay Fisher. Jay Fisher retired, so did Jack and Fafalito. So, man, what good racing tonight in the 450 main between Linz and Hurls. Definitely going to expect a little more out of Hurls going into the remainder of these rounds, but I do love to see it. So, all right, as quick as that was, that is the 450 main event concluded. That's the European aerial event today concluded. And as always, you can catch the 250 North American aerial races tonight on Jen's YouTube channel, and the 450 North American races tonight on Benjison's YouTube channel. Next Friday, we will be back for Glendale, which I believe is our first Triple Crown of the series, so a little bit of a different format. It'll be fun to watch. But every Friday right here, you can catch the 450 main.